Great start.
Doobie 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 doo. Doobie 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 Sophie Vlogs.
Hello lovely people. Lunch break vlogging continues. Today is a book that has consumed my brain for the last 2 weeks. We're going to talk about The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. Exhibit A. I read this book 2 weeks ago and I read it in literally like a day, I think, like a day or two, because it absolutely consumed me and I have not stopped thinking about it for 2 weeks. So I thought I would do a little video and explain why. I know I'm late to the game with this. Everyone loves Patrick Ness. I've always known of this. I just never actually read anything by him. And so then, secondhand bookshop, saw this bad boy and I thought, now is my moment. Finally, I will know why the world loves Patrick Ness. And I really do understand now. I can't believe it took me this long to get there, but I am signed up to this. The Knife of Never Letting Go is, I'm just going to read you the blurb because I'm rubbish at summing things up. Todd Hewitt is the last boy in Prenticetown, but Prenticetown isn't like other towns. Everyone can hear everyone else's thoughts in a constant, overwhelming, never-ending noise. There is no privacy, there are no secrets. Or are there? Just 1 month away from the birthday that will make him a man, Todd unexpectedly stumbles upon a spot of complete silence, which is impossible. Prenticetown has been lying to him, and now he's going to have to run. Ooh, are you intrigued yet? Because I was intrigued. And let me tell you, this book absolutely delivered on that. It's a really interesting setup anyway. It's quite a simple idea of the fact that you can hear everyone's thoughts, but it is very good. Well done. That's good, isn't it? But it's a very interesting setup as a start point because people have layers of thoughts. It's not just, I feel like in a lot of universes when someone can like read minds, it's very like linear. They read like, this person is having this thought right now, which isn't actually really how brains work. You have so many things going on at the moment and your thoughts, pop up randomly and you can thinking about one thing and something else going on to the surface. And this really captured that. There were like layers to people's thoughts, which I thought was really interesting. I also liked the fact that it sort of addressed that can be slightly overwhelming sometimes. The like clamour of it, which, something like Buffy touched on that when she could read minds. That was overwhelming and too much, and if, you can't function like that. Whereas you can function like that in this world, and our main character has never known any different to that. The noise is not something that was always there, the noise is something that happened, but our main character has never existed in a time when that wasn't something. He has always known about it. It's like normality to him, which I found interesting as well because although it does acknowledge that it can be overwhelming, it is something that you can cope with and people do cope with, as you can tell by the fact that they're all in a town. It just made me think about layers of thoughts and about the control you have over your mind, or like the lack of control you have over your mind, because sometimes you think things and you're like, that's not something I believe. Where has this thought come from? I would find it incredibly distressing to be in a world where people could hear my thoughts, because my thoughts are all over the place. And sometimes you just think things and you're like, where has this come from? And it's just very interesting. I also thought this book had really interesting things to say about lying, because in a world where everyone can hear everyone's thoughts, there are still kind of ways to lie, and I thought that was interesting. And I also liked how Todd as a narrator is really engaging, and he has stuff like how he explores the way that people remember things and how you can tell that that's not necessarily the truth, although it is their truth. I don't know, I just thought that was all very interesting. This was just absolutely gripping, to be honest. It's quite fast-paced, like a lot, it's not the slimmest of books, and a lot does happen, and from where you start to where you end, like so much happens, but it never feels rushed. It just feels very gripping, and I'm really shit at book reviews. Yeah. I don't always know things, and I didn't realise this was the first of a series, so it was getting near the end and I was like, how are we resolving this? Turns out you're not. I've ordered the second one. Which is exciting actually, because I really, really want to experience more of this world, and I'm very excited to do so. I do want to explain why I love this book so much, but I also don't want to say too much because I really don't want to spoil anything because it is so good. But the main thing, I think, was that it just really consumed me for like 2 days. I just could not put it down. And it sort of seeped into my reality, which is always a good sign, because I forgot that people can't hear thoughts. And I kept having moments when I was thinking about things and I'd become aware of the fact that there were people around me, and then I'd be like, oh crap, I've been annoying everyone with this, and then I'm like, hang on a second. No one else knows what I'm thinking about. That's not how this world works, but it's how this world works. And I think that's quite a good sign, the fact that the book made me forget that we can't all do that. So, there's that. I just thought it was such an interesting world that was created, and it's such a simple idea, but a really well explored idea that's really fleshed out. And there's a whole load of stuff I would say if I was going to be more spoilery that I'm not going to say because I don't want to be spoilery. But if you are like me and have never checked out Patrick Ness and have always been like, that's a person that people like, go do it, because it's very, very good. I'm trying to be more in-depth when I recommend books now, because I know that I tend to just flail and not actually say what's good about the book. But in this case, this is deliberate, because I don't want to ruin all of the good stuff about it. But safe to say, this is an awesome, awesome book. I can't wait to read the rest of the series, because I desperately need to know what happens. And so, big recommendations there. Just a little, yeah. If you have read this and have any recommendations for me based off of this, please do say. I would really, really love to hear them. Or if you are a Patrick Ness fan and have recommend what else by him is really good, then that's cool. I don't know. I just wanted to ramble about the fact that this book made me forget that everyone can't read minds, which I thought was quite impressive. Hope you're having a lovely day. This was just a quick book ramble. Yes.